Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street Podcast. This is episode 248 of the show. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel Campos, and joining me is the man who still has possession of his PlayStation Network account, John Hansen.
I do, but one of us doesn't, and that is why, if you have looked at the title of this episode, it seems to be very aggressive towards one Sony-owned brand.
Yeah.
Joel, I can't wait for this. We're not doing any more preamble. This is our first topic of the day. I want you to jump into it. Tell
Well,
us.
first, I'm going to tell you follow us on Twitter at
Oh,
Pixel
yeah.
Street. Check out youtube.com/Pixel Street videos and subscribe. But anyway, so, John, let me tell you a story. Let me walk you
Yes.
down this lane of the life of me. Okay, so hold on, let me get dates. Let me get dates up. Today is December 6th, 2023, John.
Yeah.
Um
I've
Sunday,
heard of it.
November 26th of 2023. Me and Elise wake up, right? 9 a.m. We walk to go get Starbucks. Everything's fine. I'm about a block away from Starbucks. Boom, I get a call from Discover, right? I don't know who it is. It's an 800 number. If an 800 number is calling me at 9 a.m. on a Sunday, it's probably important. So I'm like, all right, I'll answer just to hear what this robot's about to say. And they say, hey, um, several charges were made to PlayStation Network around 5 a.m. this morning. Was this you? And I'm like, no, I was asleep. That wasn't me. So I tell Discover, yeah, those weren't me. Cancel my card, send me a new card. My initial thought was somebody has my card info and is buying stuff on their PlayStation account. So we go get coffee, walk to class, and then when we get to class, that's when I start checking my emails to see. I check my Chase account, which is my debit account, also charged a bunch, and that's when I realized, okay, somebody has my PlayStation Network account. Like that has to be the solution. There's no way they have both of my card information at the same time in buying stuff from PlayStation. So I check my email that's associated with the PlayStation account, and it says that I changed my user ID or my online user ID. I can't. So they have user ID and online ID. One is like your gamer tag, and one is your email address. And it says they changed my user ID, which is my email address, but it doesn't say what they changed it to. It just says that it's been changed. Um, Keep in mind, I had two-factor authentication set up, so I don't know how the fuck this happened. Um, and so I'm like, okay, so I go to I try my normal login info, doesn't work, obviously, because they changed my login email and password, I would assume. And then I do the forgot password thing. Oh no, okay, so no, order of events. My bad. I messed up in my head. So they changed my password, and I got that email, and I was like, no, no, no. So I go in, change the password back to something I use, thinking like, okay, I'm fine. Brand new password, boom. But they must have still been logged in somehow and seen that I changed the password because then they changed the user ID, which is the email. So I couldn't even go in and do the forgot password thing to get back into the account at this point because I didn't know the email that they had associated to the account. So I'm sitting in class Sunday morning, me and Elise, and it's the first class we have, and I just feel like a dick because I'm just staring at my phone the whole time. The teacher's like starting to instruct the class and stuff. Um, yeah, so I'm in like a queue for a PlayStation chat, right, with their customer service because their phones they don't take phone calls on the weekends. So I'm in a chat telling them what happened. They said, okay, what email address you use with your PlayStation account. I tell them. They say, what's your gamer tag essentially. I tell them, and they say, okay, we need you to verify the first four and last four digits of a credit card or debit card associated with the account. So I do that, and they said, okay, cool. We changed your online ID, which is your email address, back to the email address you were using before. And I said, all right, perfect. And they say, and we sent you a link to change your email or your password right now. So I said, okay, cool. So I changed my password right then and there. And I log in and log out a few times just to make sure it's working. And I say, okay, cool. I will, sit through the rest of this class. This is like an hour I'm in this chat, John. going back and forth with
Hmm.
these people. I'm like, all right, so I'll sit through the rest of this class like another 3 hours, and then when I get home, I'll deal with figuring out getting a refund for like the purchases that were made, all this stuff. Oh, and that lady in the first chat also issued a refund to my bank accounts, right, for the charges that were made by somebody that hacked my account. Um, about an hour, so 3 hours go by. Me and Elise leave. We're walking to lunch. I check my email, and an hour after I got off the chat with PlayStation, chat contact us function, uh, the hacker had gotten back into my account again and changed the email address again. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And so I get in the chat again while me and Elise are at lunch, and I'm telling these people like, "Look, I got hacked. They changed my shit. I changed it back after contacting you. Then they hacked it again and changed it again." And PlayStation's like, "Oh, sorry, your account is." I should really pull up the screenshots. I don't know where my phone went, but I know I sent them to you, but yeah, they're pretty much like, "Oh, sorry, you're shit out of luck. You can create a new account if you want." And I'm like, "What? Like that's not an acceptable outcome. Like I've spent thousands of dollars on like digital purchases on this account. Like I buy every PlayStation console more or less. I have the PSVR too. Like what are you talking about? Just making a new account is not an option." Um, yeah, and then that's the response I got all Sunday, right? So I'm like pretty bummed out all Sunday because like I contacted their chat like 4 or 5 times or something like that, and I was just kept getting the same response. Like, sorry, your account is permanently banned. Like you'll never get it back. Create a new one. Um, so yeah, I was super bummed out that Sunday, obviously as anybody would be. Um, and then like I was just thinking about it, and like it's not the end of the world, right? Because like I'm not gonna go back and play like the old God of War game or anything like that. Like the only thing I was bummed about was like stuff that I had bought that not beaten yet, like Horizon. What's the newest one? Forbidden West.
Yeah, Forbidden West is the
Yeah,
sequel. Yeah.
and then like all the VR games that I have on there, like all the Beat Saber DLC and all that. I was pretty bummed about that stuff mostly. Um, but yeah, and so Monday comes. I try calling first thing in the morning, and of course they're on Pacific time, and it doesn't start till 9 a.m. Pacific time when they open their phone lines. So I have to wait till 11 a.m. my time, call them like 5 times. It's like, sorry, we have too many calls, and then it just hangs up. Like it doesn't even give you an option to like call me back. It doesn't give you an option to like wait in a queue. It's just like, sorry, we are currently experiencing too
Um,
many calls, and then it just hangs up on you.
the thing I've been noticing lately that I really like when companies do is they're like, set a schedule for us to call you back.
Yeah, so
Like
here's the thing.
that's the
What
perfect
so,
thing.
so I kept calling Sony like every few minutes, right? And finally it got through, and when it got through, you know what it did, John? It said, "Hey, do you want us to call you back? We'll save your place in the queue. You won't lose your spot. We'll call you right
Hmm.
back when your turn's up." And I'm like, "Why the fuck couldn't they have done this the first time I called? Why are you just saying
Yeah.
you're getting too many calls and just hanging up on me?" So finally I do that, talk to a lady. The lady on the phone's like, as I explained the situation, um, and then they ask me, like they're trying to verify my account and like that I'm me, right? So then this lady asked me the first four and last four of my credit card on the account. I give it to her, and then she says that she needs the serial number of the PlayStation I created my account on, which I highly doubt many people have the serial number of the PlayStation they created their account on. Because I created my account in like 2008 or 2009 on a PS3 I bought on Christmas Day. Like that's just it's not reasonable. Um and then I was like, "Is there anything like any other option?" And then she said, "Oh, well, you can send me a or yeah, you can we can try putting in the serial number of your current PlayStation 5 and we'll see if that works." I'm like, "What do you mean we'll see if that works? Like, you should know whether or not
Yeah.
that's going to work."
that 100%, that person 100% had to have been new or something, because I already know you told me that the next time you called, you're like, "Hey,
Yeah,
I've got the serial code." They're like, "Oh, I don't need that," and just kind of
yeah.
laughed.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
so the
that's
thing
funny.
is my PlayStation at the time was at my buddy's because we were playing The Last of Us Remastered Part 1. We're currently playing through it. So I had to be like, "Yo, send me a picture when you get home from work of the serial number so I can do this." And then I call back, I'm ready, got the serial number, I'm hoping everything's gonna work. I have to explain again to another person this whole situation. Um, and then she asked for the first four and last four of my credit card. I said, "Here you go." And I said, "Also, I have, my PS5. I don't have the serial number of the PlayStation I made the account on, but I have my PS5 serial number." And the lady just laughed and was like, "I don't need that." Like, the way she laughed was like as if, "Oh, people tell customers that all the time, but we don't actually need that."
Oh,
So I
okay,
don't know. Maybe it's like a discretionary thing, like whether or not the person believes that I'm actually the owner. You know what I mean?
maybe.
Like
I
I could
don't.
see that being the case, but it's
Yeah.
just weird. And then finally, the lady's like, "Okay, cool, verified your account," and she said, "Do you want to put it on your email address that you've been putting it on?" I said, "Absolutely not. Put it on a different email address, just so that I can be safe. Like, maybe the hacker has access to that email or something, and that's how they're getting in." So I changed the email address to a new email address of mine. Changed the password, set up two factor authentication while this lady's on the phone. Everything's good to go. Um, Fast forward to, I don't, 2 days ago at this point, on the 4th, which is like a week and a day after this whole thing happens. And I get an email. Let me see if I can just pull it up. Hold on. The vaguest email you'll ever get. The headline of this email, John, just says, "Your account has been suspended." Oh, gee, thanks, PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, click this link to put in a request to find out why. And so I do that, and then the next day an article comes out saying that a bunch of PlayStation accounts got suspended, and I'm just thinking like, okay, I'm just unlucky, and that affected me. But no, I got another response from PlayStation today, explaining why my account got suspended, and the reason is, John, is because Sony gave me a refund for all the purchases the hacker made, right?
Hmm.
So issued all the refunds, but my bank, since I told them, to give me a new card and it was fraud, they issued a chargeback to Sony. So essentially, Sony paid me back, and my bank is like disputing it with Sony. So I had to call my bank today and say, "Hey, I want to, delete that claim. They already refunded me." So now I'm just like, it's just a toss. Like I just gotta play the waiting game now.
Yeah, for
I've
all that
I've
to go through.
I have to wait like 2 or 3 days for Sony to respond and probably tell me, "No, we don't see it on our end yet. Put in another request in 4 to 5 business days." So it's like I'm looking at like weeks from right now that I'll be able to sign in probably. It's just so stupid. It's so dumb.
It- It's a good thing you already got through Spider-Man. That would suck if
Uh,
this
yeah, you're
happened
mid
right when that
playthrough.
came out. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
Man, that is the most wild like run of events I've heard of with someone
dude.
dealing
The
with this.
the fact that they were like, "Sorry, you don't have your account. You can make a new account," and I'm like, "What? What kind of like? Why is that even like an option of a response that they can copy and paste in their headquarters? You know what I mean?"
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I don't support teams, man. gotta gotta love
And
them,
and
I guess.
and the thing is, the reason I was so bummed on Sunday too is because like I'm not the only one that's had this happen to them, and there's a
Hmm.
lot of other people that have posted on Reddit and Twitter and stuff that have all said this same exact thing happened to them, but Sony still refuses to give them their account back. Like I saw somebody post that like I had to put in a thing with the Better Business Bureau to where they investigated it, and then Sony finally after 6 months gave me my account back. I'm like, man, that is just so much of a hassle. I told you,
Yeah,
John, that like if for some reason they didn't give me my account back, I would just be done with PlayStation. Like
yeah.
because it's just like so much. it's just like, why would I invest in that platform if they're just gonna decide to take it away and not? And that's the other thing. They were not giving me a reason as to why they would not give me the account back,
Yeah,
and
that's a
that was the
lot.
most frustrating thing.
So much time and money just gone like that. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Another reason we hate Sony right now is this article comes from Rebecca Valentine at IGN. The title says Bungie devs say atmosphere is soul crushing amid layoffs, cuts, and fear of total Sony takeover. So I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's a lot. But I
Hmm.
did read it
It's a
earlier.
very good. It's a very good article, though. I highly
It is.
recommend reading.
Yeah,
Very
definitely
good
go read
reporting.
this. Um, the gist of it is that when Sony bought Bungie last July, like a year and a half ago, almost at this point, um, Bungie's whole thing is to stay independent. They said cool. The board members were split, where Bungie has one more board member than Sony in terms of making decisions for Bungie, which is you know mainly the reason that Bungie is still independent. Um,
Hmm.
but Sony, of course, being Sony, they have a thing basically that says, if you don't meet our, I don't know if I want to say standard or it's not standard. If you don't meet our goal, our sales goals
Yeah.
for set times, then we get majority ruling in the share, or what am I trying to say? Then we have majority vote, right? Over what Bungie does, more or less. Decisions at Bungie. Um, and they just set ridiculous goals for them that Bungie probably could never make, or like maybe in a perfect world could make. And so Bungie, when they did layoffs like a month and a half, 2 months ago, the main reasoning for it was because they were not going to hit these sales quotas that Sony's setting, and they don't want to lose, their independence from being a Sony independently owned company. So that's the gist of it. It's just real shitty on Sony's part to, because like everybody was like praising like, oh yeah, they bought the company, but they're letting them stay completely independent, and this is just showing that that's not the case. Like Sony's intention, it seems all along, was to eventually take over Bungie, more or less.
Yeah, it's so wild, like hearing all this stuff, and especially coming up with the Game Awards, which air tomorrow as we're recording this, and they are up for the best community something.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is
It's
it?
like
Best
how,
community
and they
management.
just
It's just
fired all their community like
yeah, just
leads.
like, but like all you're hearing out of there is like just bad things at the moment. Like the devs are saying like, "Hey, stuff is bad right now. Like things are not going well." Um, it's yeah, it's. I think this is more on Bungie than Sony. I mean, obviously they're one and the same now, but uh, things are just they're kind of catching on fire at Bungie, and if they're not careful, that's gonna have a very long
An,
term negative effect on them.
another quote that I might butcher it a little bit, but from the article that I liked was one of the inside people that is leaking this information to IGN, said that somebody had asked upper management like, well, is are the executives going to take a pay cut to help offset some of these layoffs so that we don't have to lay off many people. And the response, like in the quoted response, was like, um, Bungie is not that kind of company. What kind of fucking response is that? No, you're a greedy
No,
asshole. You just got a
yeah,
huge bag from selling Bungie to Sony, and now you
hmm,
don't want to fucking budge on your salary to help save jobs at your own
yeah,
company. It's crazy.
yeah. They're as much goodwill as Bungie has. Like they're really pulling the Bethesda move from like a few years ago where they're just like doing a lot of bad things in like a very short span here. Um it's kind of insane to see, really.
Yeah.
I,
Also part of it could be that like maybe Bungie did get taken advantage of in this PlayStation merger, right? Like PlayStation's a
maybe.
much bigger company. They probably have much better lawyers than Bungie did in terms of like making this acquisition happen. So I don't know. Who knows? But it is like, as a huge Bungie fan, it really hurts to see all this because like it's very possible that Bungie in 5 years is a completely different company because like the heads of Bungie are gone, for whatever reason because of all this bullshit going on, and I don't know. It's scary. It's scary to see what the future of Destiny could be.
Yeah, I mean, we could just be looking at the Activision days all over again.
I hope not.
Like that's that would be so insane if we just instantly go back to that.
Right back
Man,
to me not playing the game for 2 years.
right?
All right, John.
All right.
Better news. Better news up next. The GTA 6 trailer came out. Um Now it's worth noting it got leaked the night before it was supposed to drop. And it was just being seen so much to where Rockstar just tweeted, fuck it, here's a link, go watch it on our channel. Give us the views. We need the data. We need to see who's playing this or who's watching this.
Yeah, so it is already the fastest viewed trailer on YouTube of all time, whether it's video games, TV, movies, whatever. It's the fastest viewed. Like it is insane how much it's. I'm trying to pull it up right now to see what it's at
Yeah, I
this
got it
moment.
rolling.
113 million views within 2 days.
That
That's mad.
those are insane numbers. But yeah, this trailer, it looks great. They really leaned into the Florida Man thing in this. There's already like TikToks and stuff and YouTube videos of people comparing, all the Florida Man like memes and news articles that they've referenced in this trailer alone. But yeah, the graphics, they look fucking amazing. I can't wait to play this game. Like me and John both love Grand Theft Auto. It's gonna be a ton of fun. And the kind of funny guys have a theory that Troy Baker might be the voice of the main dude.
I heard that other places as well. Um,
Because it just sounds like Joel from The Last of Us when he says trust, but it's just one word. It could be anybody.
yeah, yeah. I kind of hope it's not because I just want to see more actors get a chance at a big project like this. Yeah, this trailer is a lot focused on. I think her name's Lila.
Lucia.
Is that Lucia? Close enough. Yeah, she's the female protagonist. You're supposed to be kind of like GTA 3, or not GTA 3. GTA 5 had you swap in between three people. The leak has always been you're going to swap between these two people, and it looks like they're like actually in a relationship. Which, from a story perspective, I think that really gets me more interested than GTA 5's story did. Like GTA 5
Yeah,
had some interesting parts to it, but at the end of the day, it was just kind of like these are three very,
very random dudes. Like they
very random dudes that are just teaming up.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah, they're teaming up for one purpose, right? Whereas this is
yeah,
like a Bonnie and Clyde situation, which I think is
yeah,
very interesting.
it very. I yeah. I mean, I don't think Grand Theft Auto has that amazing of a story to begin with, but I'm at least interested in this. The thing that popped out to me the most in this trailer was how lively Vice City looked. Like
Yep.
not not just more models in the area. Like, yeah, of course, it's been a decade since GTA 5. The place is going to be able to be filled out more with more cars, more objects within there, more people in general. But just the citizens themselves, obviously this is a it's a trailer, so like they're gonna make it all however they want it to look. But I just hope that the citizens are as lively as they looked in this trailer. Like it looked like the insane Florida man Grand Theft Auto kind of take on that stuff that I was like, okay, you've got me here. Like this looks really good. Um yeah. Uh my question for you is because I don't believe it for a second that this game is coming out in 2025. Do you?
I think it is. I don't see
Nah.
why it wouldn't.
Because it's
I feel like we're in a day and age where companies know better than to commit to something like that.
it still happens all the time.
But a game this big, I don't know.
Yes, it happened with Starfield.
Yeah, that's
It
a different
happened
day
with
and
Zelda.
age. That was 2 years ago.
No, that was literally 1 year ago.
2 years ago.
No, 1 year,
2 years.
just one. It's still
No,
happening.
2 years.
No, yeah, no, I'm thinking it's gonna be 2026 before this comes out. Um,
I don't know. We did see that leak like a year and a half ago at this point, where like somebody was playing the game.
well, yeah, they have to test it.
Yeah, but it looked pretty good then, even
Eh,
considering how early on in development it probably was.
yeah, no,
We
I
also
don't.
have no idea of like, did they just render like 3 square blocks for that? Right? Like,
Yeah,
was that just like one small part of the whole map? I'm curious
yeah,
because like at some point in the next year they're gonna come out and say this map is 3 times the size of GTA 5. It's always some ridiculous stat,
hmm,
but then like it looks really cool when they compare them like right next to each other. But then when you play the game, it doesn't feel like it's 3 times the size. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It
They
looks like it on the map, but when you're driving, it feels like it's the same amount of time.
well, not only that, it's just, but also like how they're working in like different environments in there because they showed in this trailer not just like the city aspect of it, but they like showed swampland and like all this area where people were like um driving like hoverboats out on the water and stuff like that. And like that stuff's cool to see on paper and everything, but like with Grand Theft Auto 5, for example, you had the city and then like two-thirds of the map is desert. And I always hated that two-thirds. I was like, this is
Yeah.
really boring to drive through. Okay, well, there was mountain in there, which was cool, but like the whole giant desert area, I was never a fan of. So like I just yeah, they'll make it bigger and they'll add in all these new things, but it's just like, do I want to constantly rely on a hoverboat to get around certain areas? Um, like, yeah, it's gonna be awesome to go through the city, but like, is that something I want to deal with a lot? I don't know, but
Like one thing that I really love about Grand Theft Auto games is how creative they get with the missions. Like you were said before, the overarching story of Grand Theft Auto games typically isn't like the best, right? Like it's not going to get nominated for awards based on that alone. But I think it's like the creativity of the missions that does it for me. Like in Grand Theft Auto 5, just like switching between the characters mid mission. Like I'm just thinking of what they could do with hoverboats in this for one mission and no more than one mission because that could get old really fast. There's going to be some sort of hoverboat race in a swamp type thing, some time trials or something. I don't know.
yeah, um, yeah. I I'm also just I think going in, well, of course we've known for a while how they were going to handle the like two character aspect of this. I think after GTA Online just completely took over Grand Theft Auto 5, I kind of went into 6 thinking like, "Oh, just do another Grand Theft Auto thing, like make that the main story, like your created character is the one that's going on that story instead of the characters they make." Which I guess it's fine that they have a single player campaign still that isn't connected to online, but it's probably going to be 2 years before they even show us online components of this game.
That's
And
the sad thing. That's the sad thing because it's
and
gonna
like,
do the same thing that GTA 5 did, where the game
hmm
comes out and then at a later date, online's coming.
oh man, and I remember it was like a week later online launched, and it was
It
terrible.
was a
It
shit
ran
show.
so bad.
It was awful.
Hopefully, it's better this time. But yeah, I just yeah, I'm just gonna be sitting here for a long time thinking like, what's the online gonna be? Because like, yeah, the story's cool and everything, and people are gonna enjoy it. They'll Some people are so dedicated to it, they're already probably thinking of calling it the best game ever made because it's Grand Theft Auto. Um, but I don't really care about the story. I want to know like what insane shit am I going to get into? What more can I do that I haven't been able to do for the last decade in GTA 5 online? That's really what I want
How
to know.
big and small do the horse testicles get in this game, John?
Right? That would be
Yeah,
really funny if they had just a horse ranch just for that. They're
yeah,
like, "We worked so hard on this technology, we can't let it go."
yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely excited. How do you feel about the decision that it's not coming to PC at launch?
Whatever. I mean, it's I obviously I don't really care because 'cause I'm not a PC gamer.
Yeah,
But they're not gonna just skip PC. They're gonna bring it out on PC. I
yeah,
would much
obviously.
rather them make the each version as good as possible instead of just trying to rush through everything
Yeah,
and like
I was listening
make one
to
that's worse.
a kind of funny podcast. I don't remember which one, what show it was, but Andy Cortez was saying that like, and he made a very good point that like there's a lot of games that come out now that are like these high fidelity type games, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be trying to look as good as it can. Like Jedi Survivor, for instance, it came out and it just left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth because of how poorly it ran at launch on, well, first of all, PC ran really bad, I remember. And even Xbox and PS5 ran bad. Like that's why I never played it, because when I started playing it, it was like just noticeably bad enough for me to like not want to play it at the time. And I was like, "Oh, I'll
Mhm.
come back when they fix it." And then when they fix it, I just never got around to playing it. Um and yeah, so if they can just focus their resources on, one to two things, obviously that's going to create a better result in the end.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I There's gonna be people that bitch about it, but I
They'll
mean,
bitch about everything.
yeah, there you can't make everyone happy. I would much rather them make the PS5 and Series X versions as good as possible with a PC version that comes down, let's say 6 months later, that's equally as good, rather than try and push all three out and all three of those versions have more bugs or just don't run well.
Exactly. John, we gotta play more Grand Theft Auto Online and do more heists. I still want to do all those heists. They're just such a commitment.
They are. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can download it again. I'm just kind of I I don't know. I saw the trailer that came out. I was like, yeah, this looks really good. Genuinely, it does. Like that's a great trailer. They did a awesome job of bringing Tom Petty back from the dead. Like his popularity on the song that they use like skyrocketed on
Yeah.
Spotify and stuff. But like when I think of Grand Theft Auto now, I'm so burnt out on just the idea of Grand Theft Auto 5 that I'm like, it'll come out when it comes out. I'm not clamoring for it like some people are.
Yeah. All right,
But the
John,
thing is,
tomorrow. Oh,
go ahead. I'm done.
you're done. I mean, we're gonna
I'm
talk
done.
about this like every few months for the next year or two.
Probably.
So
Yep.
because
Yep.
something new's gonna come out where it's gonna be like, oh my god, can you believe this game does this?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, moving on. Tomorrow is the Game Awards. And I know the audio version probably won't be out before it, but I thought we would just say two things we want to see shown at the show. It could be something we already know about, something we don't know about, or just like a long shot.
All right. I'm gonna start because I've got it on my mind. I saw a potential leak that Dishonored 3 is going to be revealed at the Game Awards. And I was fully committed to the idea that Bethesda and Arcane were leaving Dishonored behind for Deathloop. And I will be very happy if that happens.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting because Deathloop was very popular for them.
Hmm.
And Dishonored like has like its cult fan base, I would say.
Yeah.
But it didn't spread like wildfire as much
Wild.
as Deathloop did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that happening.
Dishonored 2 is great. Everyone should play it. Um, yeah, go ahead. Your turn.
So like Xbox has a history of showing stuff here, and it's been all over, right? Like they revealed the Series X at the Game Awards one year, didn't they? So it's
Yeah.
like like it could be as big as that, or it could be as small as
Last year
fucking
they didn't show anything.
yeah, exactly as
They were
small as
completely
nothing,
absent.
or
But
as
they
small as
have said
like,
they're going to be there. They are 100% announcing stuff. They have said.
or it could be as small as like, hey, we fixed Redfall, go play it. Um,
I
I don't
guess.
know. I think it'd be cool to see more Fable of some sort.
God, I would love
Um,
that.
it seems too early to see any Perfect Dark, just because all we saw was nothing, pretty much. All we saw is that they're making a Perfect Dark game, which
I
was
am
still a
not
weird announcement to
expecting
me.
I'm not expecting Perfect Dark to get anything announced about it until they just announce it. Like I have no expectations for that game.
Yeah. So I guess my three things I would say is I want to see. It'd be cool to see Fable. It'd be cool to see whatever they're doing with Gears of War. Um,
I think they would save that for next summer.
yeah. The thing is, we have no idea.
Yeah,
And then I think if they are doing the God of War Ragnarok DLC, I think that'd be cool to see at the show too.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course I've got Dishonored 3. I also I'm 100% with you. I would love to see Fable here because I just want to see more of that game in general. That I also think they're going to save until summer. Instead, it's time for us to see more on Hellblade 2. Like that was announced alongside the Series X announcement, and we've gotten some gameplay since then, but like I we're 4 years on since it was announced at the Game Awards. I think it's time to get a release date trailer and show us more of what is new in this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that game freaked me out, man. The first one freaked me out. Cool game, but freaked me out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure they're going to take it to a new level with the second one.
Yeah. Next week, me and John will be talking about all the results of the Game Awards, along with how we
Our
did point
predictions.
wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick news, John. Among Us characters are coming to Vampire Survivors in a new DLC.
Yeah.
Are they
I'm,
are they going to have special moves?
well, it's Vampire Survivors. So all you do is just walk around.
Yeah, but like you know how each character has its own like special skill set.
I would imagine.
You
I
think
don't,
you is it just one Among Us character that you can just like change the color of?
I, so I didn't watch the full trailer. I just saw it pop up on Twitter. I don't think they actually showed gameplay. They just kind of showed a very animated style of it, but they did show multiple Among Us characters. But like one was like the red one with a gun. One had like the guardian angels. So maybe that's how they give them the special abilities. Like the different colors will all have different ones. I don't know. That'd be cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, PlayStation Pulse earbuds are out now, and then I put in quotes, or are they? So they were supposed to come out today, and apparently, if you ordered from PlayStation directly, you are probably getting them in the mail today or tomorrow. I would assume, because Audrey ordered on PlayStation and got them in the mail. Whereas Chad, what Chad likes to do, is he's the biggest Sony fanboy I know, probably, right? He'll pre-order it as soon as he sees it on PlayStation Direct, just so he knows he has a pre-order, and then he'll pre-order it at Best Buy for store pickup, so that he can go pick it up the day it comes out, and not have to worry about waiting for shipping, whether it's later in the day or the next day or it gets delayed. Um, and then he cancels the PlayStation pre-order. So he did that and canceled the PlayStation pre-order, and no Best Buys or no GameStops got shipment of these things yet. So he's just like super pissed off because he was excited to take his PlayStation Portal with him to because he's going to North Carolina on Friday for a month to visit his
Hmm.
family. And now he doesn't have any headphones that work wirelessly with the PlayStation Portal, which is really a bummer. So yeah, that's just a shitty situation to be in.
I wonder. how Chad would take it if he had the situation that you're going through right now. Because he's,
He would be freaking out. Dude, I don't know
I
what he would
know.
do because like it's to a point where like when I like so since my account is technically suspended right now, you cannot call them and talk about it. When you call,
Mhm.
it tells you to go to their website and inquire. Like you can't like I've gotten through to a person, asked about it, and they said no, you have to go online. Which is it's very weird. I don't understand why that's the case, but that's the situation. Chad, I don't know what he I honestly don't know. I
I think
I
he would lose his mind.
I I I have no idea what Chad would do. Even if he
Mhm.
wasn't like actively playing any games on the PlayStation, it's like a mental thing. I think he would lose his mind. I think we would see him tweeting every 5 minutes about it. I I think we would also see him posting a video of him talking about it on Twitter.
Mhm.
I think he would be doing everything.
Yeah, he absolutely would. Ugh, that's our Chad. What a good
uh,
boy.
Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is at a 73 on Metacritic, and Game Sandwich has a review of the game from Jesse Lennox.
Yeah, Jesse Lennox, our editor in chief. Um, yeah, he overall, just to kind of sum up what he was saying, it's like it's really beautiful, but it's not that amazing. Here, actually, I forgot to see what he actually gave the score. I think it
He
was
gave
an
it a
8,
7 out of
7.
10.
So yeah,
His
he's pretty
pros
much.
his Sorry, his
Go ahead.
pros were that it's an immaculate world design and detail. Combat encounters are less frequent and more meaningful, and a unique trading system. The cons are it beats you over the head with its message, lack of compelling characters, and leaves interesting conversations on the table.
So yeah, it's a Far Cry, but Avatar. Pretty much exactly what you thought it was. Everyone thought it was. So
Yeah, it's also
I
coming to Ubisoft Plus,
yeah.
um, which they tweeted about it, but people are thinking that it's an error. So I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Because they did that. So they tweeted about it, but people are thinking that maybe it's only on Ubisoft Plus for PC players because they did that with Far Cry 6, I believe it was, where
Gotcha.
it came to Ubisoft Plus for PC players, but not Xbox, and people were super pissed about it. Rightfully so, because
Yeah.
like you're paying for the same service. Why would they
Might
do
as
that?
well. Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, moving
Yeah,
on. The Legend of Zelda movie director wants it to be a live action Miyazaki film.
I
Does
like
this
the
get
sound
your
of that.
juices flowing? Does this make your nipples hard?
Yeah. Yeah, I am erect all over.
All right. Donkey Kong Country expansion to Super Nintendo World Japan is opening next spring, and I mean I assume that it's coming to the LA
Orlando at
one.
some point, or it was
LA.
LA. Orlando's the one is the regular one that's opening up soon.
Yeah.
Um yeah, yeah, no, I think it's coming at some point. It's just Japan gets it first.
Yep. Mortal Kombat 1 will get a story expansion, then have a big surprise. What does that mean?
It's getting a kart racer.
They already did that, didn't they?
Back in the day, they did, yeah.
Yeah.
I want I want another one.
That does it for the news, John. Tell me about Skyward Sword and how you're still playing it.
Well, I actually beat it. I beat it about a week ago, but we didn't record, so I want to talk about it now. Um, yeah, overall, The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword is my least favorite 3D Zelda game, easily. That doesn't mean it's a bad game, though. It is a good game because, well, it's a Zelda game. I mean, it's got good ideas in it, but man, the motion controls, the combat, just everything about that, I hate. I hated it. I also don't like the art style at all, but I will say the story is pretty good. Groose starts out the story as one of my least favorite Zelda characters ever, and then instantly, about halfway through, turns it around and becomes one of the best Zelda side characters ever. Um, yeah, no, there's some stuff to like about it, but I really pushed myself to get through it. The opening 4 or 5 hours of it, I was like, man, I don't want to play this because just I was playing on my Switch with the stick controls instead of motion controls, and just like it doesn't feel good ever,
Is
and
that
I
how you
just
played the
don't.
whole thing?
Most of it, I did try some of it with the motion controls, and I just don't like that. I am not a motion control fan. Um, yeah, it just feels bad to play, and I just yeah, I never want to touch it again, but I'm glad I can say that I beat it because The Legend of Zelda is my favorite series, and it felt weird to say that I never beat that one.
John, all I
Uh,
can tell you is thank God there's not achievements on the Switch because you would feel obligated to get all of them in that game, even though you hate it.
maybe. No, I wouldn't. Maybe back in the day I would have. There was a time where I was forcing myself to play games I didn't like. I don't really do that anymore.
John, that time was like a month ago when you got all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre achievements.
I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I
You were
did
telling
push.
me how much you didn't want to play it anymore.
I was very much done with it. That's sure. But I was within range. I saw the end goal. It was right there. I knew I could get it, so I got it. Um, no, Skyward Sword's good, not great. I would, if I was scoring it, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. I just, I would much rather go back to Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker. I'd play through Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom from the start again rather than play that. So yeah.
Gotcha. Speaking of games that we beat and have not talked about yet, I beat Hi-Fi Rush a few weeks ago, like a week and a half ago.
Hey,
Yeah, that game's great. I love the art
that's so
style.
good.
I love the music in it. I love the witty writing. Although I feel like if that game was like 2 hours longer, I would have gotten annoyed just because like all like like they make little like jokes here and there and like they're funny when they hit, but like they can get old if I like if this game was twice as long or something, I would get real annoyed with
Hmm.
all the jokes and stuff they're making. Um, but yeah, it's like the perfect length of game for what it is. I loved it. It's a great game. I can't wait for whatever the next one is.
Yeah,
AK says Hi-Fi Rush is on his to play list or to party list. I don't know. To play.
highly recommend it. So good. One of my favorite games of the year. It's probably going to end up on my top 5 game list that we do at the end of the year. Um, I hope it wins at least a few awards tomorrow at the Game Awards because it absolutely deserves it. Yeah, that game is so good. Yeah, so I have also been playing. What did I put down? I can't remember. Remnant 2. I've been playing Remnant 2 with Adam from Respawning Fire and one of his friends. I can't remember his name at the moment. Uh,
I think
so this,
Chad picked it up too. I don't know if it
well,
has
it's
crossplay.
on Game Pass. It's on Game Pass, so that's how we're playing it.
Yeah.
And so it's up to 3 people that can play, and I highly recommend if you're going to play it with 2 other people.
What kind
I
of
did
game
a
is this? I don't even know what the first game was.
So the first game's on there as well, but for everything I've heard is that the second one is better. I downloaded the first one to give it a try, but I saw Adam on there, so I was like, I want to play this with someone. So I haven't tried the first one. Um, I guess there are like Dark Souls elements to it. And I mean, when you witness them, you're like, okay, this was just straight up bullshit. There are times where the game goes out of its way to screw you over. There was one moment where we were walking around this tunnel and I found a ring to pick up. I was like, oh, hey guys, I found a ring. And when you pick up loot, everyone in the party gets it. Like, awesome. So I go to pick it up. And then a cutscene happened where a tentacle came out of the water that I was in, wrapped me up, and pulled me into a boss room on my own while the other 2 had no idea what happened to me. And I had no ammo at the time to fight it. So I was just screwed. I was like, what is this? It does a lot of that kind of bullshit, but playing with friends while you do it makes it so much better. I At first when I was playing solo, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna give this much more of a chance, but the moment I got into it with Adam and this other guy, the game just gets so much better. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it's also got this really interesting thing where it's kind of a multiverse beginning part where like everyone can have different beginnings to the game. Like there are just different worlds you travel to. Adam and this other guy, they got the same beginning, but mine was completely different. Like they had like a very it would kind of look like they were like fighting like Final Fantasy enemies and stuff. Like there were angels and they were in this giant castle, this cathedral, while I was over here like in this space area in a desert with all these bugs and robots. It was pretty cool to see just like how different it is. Of course, you travel to all these worlds anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it's very much not a linear game. It is a, hey, you know what? I found an entrance to this world. Let's go there. Oh, hey, I've already been here. Well, I haven't seen it at all. That stuff was really cool. Um, yeah, I hope we get to play more of it because I've been enjoying it.
Cool. Yeah, I might want to download it. It looks interesting. It definitely looks like a Souls-like game, but with guns, which
Hmm.
is
It is, yeah.
it's more my speed than an Elden Ring type of game. So maybe I'll try it out. Does it have
I do.
crossplay? Because I know Chad
I
picked it up. I don't know if he's been playing it.
it might. I have no idea. Um, but yeah, I 100% think that the co-op nature of it is what makes it fun.
Gotcha. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to. Okay. My friends are inviting me to a Rocket League tournament that starts in like 4 minutes. And if we
All
finish
right.
in time, I'm gonna try and play it. So
All
I've
right.
been playing Rocket League, a lot of Rocket League. New season just started today. Yeah, the main reason I started playing it is because I paid for the Fortnite crew, which gives you the Rocket Pass as well, which is pretty interesting. Um, so yeah, been playing more Rocket League and having fun with it.
Rocket League is awesome. To finish this up, we also have been playing some Halo Infinite. I don't think we talked
Yes,
about this, but the Halo 3 maps were remade in it, and they are very good, very fun.
very very good.
Um, yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I we're gonna plan a Halo night. I don't think it's gonna be this weekend. Maybe next weekend.
That sounds good.
Um, but yeah, maybe next Friday night. But yeah, Halo. They just added what the fuck? What's it called? What's it called? What's it called? They added it yesterday. What's it called? What Firefight? They added Firefight yesterday.
Oh, cool.
But it's not like your typical firefight. It's like an online match-made AI firefight. It's interesting. It's like King of
Mm,
the Hill firefight, I think is what it's called. But yeah, Halo Infinite's better than it has ever been right now. So if you like Halo or have ever been interested in it, now is the time to try it. Um, yeah, that's gonna do it for episode 248 of the show. As always, follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out our pinned tweet for all of the links to our social media, including Discord, where we will post when our Halo game night will be. Probably next Friday. That's what I'm thinking. Next Friday night. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna be on the lookout for a bunch of custom games online that are fun to play and try and save them so that we can play then.
cool.
You can find me on Twitter at Campo63 or twitch.tv/Campo63. John, where are you on the internet?
I am at Revex Shadows on Twitter, and you can find my writing on GameSandwich.com.
Cool. We will be right back here next week with episode 249 of the Pixel Street Podcast.
Bye.